Welcome to another episode of Life Supports. Today we're going to be talking about orthotics, supports that you can put in your shoes for your feet. That's what orthotics are. How do they work? I like to describe orthotics as being similar to eyeglasses for your feet. Okay, so eyeglasses do not fix the problems that are wrong with my eyes, but they help support the weaknesses so I can see and function better. That's how orthotics work. They support the weakness in your feet so that you can function better. They don't fix your arches. And the reason why this is important is because the more unhealthy our feet are, the more important it is for us to support them. And the reason why, let's talk about why might we need supports to begin with, and how do we know if we need support. So let's talk about how we know if we need supports. One of the best ways is to have your foot digitized. Have a digital assessment so you can see the health of your arches. So I'll show you an example here. So this is what a normal optimal foot should look like. Now when we talk about the arches of the feet, everyone thinks about the arch on the inside of the foot that they're used to looking at. But we actually have three arches. We have this one on the inside, but we also have one under the ball of the foot, which is called your transverse arch, and one on the outside that's called your lateral arch. And these arches have two main functions. Number one, they should cause your foot to set up, okay? They're the strength and the stability for your foundation. Just like an arch in architecture of a foundation of a building, it provides strength and stability. Same with our feet. The other thing is they help your body to work as a natural suspension system. So if we understand that and we see that those arches are starting to break down or they're starting to collapse, well, now the foundation of the building is collapsing, so the whole building can be off. It can affect everything from the feet up. Number two, we also lose that natural suspension system, so we're starting to absorb more impact in the feet, the knees, more compression in the lower back and the rest of the spine, okay? So ultimately, this is what we want to see happen here. We want to see most of the pressure being on the ball and the heel of the foot. You notice we don't have red in this area. This area is called the plantar vault, and that's where that foot is setting up. So we're not getting the pressure that would cause that red. We look at an example of a foot that's broken down, and this is one of the most common examples that we'll start to see. Okay, let's put these side by side here. You can see how with this person, their outside arch is collapsed. And their transverse arch is starting to break down. The one on the inside of the foot, it still looks pretty good, okay? And if you'll think about most shoes that do have an arch support, that's where it's at. It's already here. While that's good, that doesn't provide this person with the support that they need. So not only, and when we look at this is how this can start to impact. Normally we want to see the body being balanced, okay, with the optimal foot support. As that starts to break down, now we see how that can start to affect the balance and structure of this person's body. Okay, you can see their score here, they were in a moderate breakdown range. So going back to the eyeglasses example, sometimes we may have just some mild weakness with our eyes, and we can go to our local pharmacy and get some over-the-counter readers that provide us the support we need. Other times that breakdown is more significant, and we may need something that's more prescribed for us, more designed for us. And that's where you get into a more custom orthotic, okay? So what we were looking at with the changes in these feet, in this person's feet, this is also the pattern, and it's the most common thing that we'll see where that outside arch collapses. But this helps us to be more prone to very painful conditions like plantar fasciitis and heel spurs, okay? So how plantar fasciitis develops is that outside arch collapses, so it stretches that tissue. And now if you don't have the right support, or your shoes are unhealthy, or you're barefoot on concrete at the swimming pool all summer, whatever it may be, and that foot is starting to have more pressure on it than it can absorb because that natural shock absorption is not there, then now that tissue is going to get irritated. It's going to get inflamed. That's plantar fasciitis. Now this is also the pattern that sets you up for heel spurs, because your body is so smart. It doesn't matter if we're talking about your neck or your foot. Anytime it has pressure on it in ways it's not designed to have, it's going to start to calcify that tissue to try to support itself. It may say, this may cause me pain, it may cause me loss of motion, but I'm trying to protect and support this system. Another thing to remember about orthotics is there are different types of orthotics, even when you get into the custom realm. Many times people are prescribed orthotics when they're having problems. So traditionally we look at what's going on with the body. We say what's diseased or broken and how do I support it? So many times people are placed in a hard plastic, or oftentimes I've even seen a metal orthotic, because what the provider is simply trying to do is support that arch. As a chiropractor, not only are we looking at how do we support that weakness, but we understand and appreciate that motion is a key to life. And when we talk about the foot is made up of a lot of tiny little bones that are designed to have movement. So if you take a hard bone and hard plastic or hard metal, something's got to give. So one of the recommendations, if you are prescribed orthotics, ask if they have an option that's designed to move. We use foot levelers. I've used foot levelers personally for years. We'll have a link to their information below. Because they provide a good custom orthotic. It's designed to fit you, their costs are reasonable, and they can do a lot of products. A lot of my patients, and even for family members, they'll use these in their shoes, and then they can create sandals or specific shoe types designed with that orthotic, that support in them. So orthotics, if you've had questions about them, or you've had questions why you may be experiencing some of the symptoms you are, this can be some good information to help you to get to the underlying cause of those issues, so now you can better support yourself and protect yourself for the long term. Thank you for watching us. Please like or subscribe for future information. We'll have more life supports. If this information was helpful for you, also tune in to our blog where we discuss certain types of shoes. And we're also going to have another segment that's based on how to purchase the right shoe for your lifestyle. Thanks for joining us.